Hello everybody, I am the Sonic Arrow, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Justice for All. We're just gonna roll right back into the trial. We're into the second case. We're just gonna keep going. We're gonna be good, and... So, what? Prosecutor Von Karma? You mean... No, I heard it's his successor this time. Successor? Manfred Von Karma was a really sinister man. He pulled all sorts of nasty tricks. Also, he could win. He was a man obsessed with the word perfection. He had a perfect record for 40 long years. Who knows what sorts of dirty tricks he used to get each of those guilty verdicts. And now a successor. I wonder what kind of person they'll turn out to be. It's no good. Mystic Maya. Pearly! You showed up. Thanks for coming all this way. I was really worried about you. Hey, where's your mother? Didn't you two come together? Mother's watching over the trainees. She said they have training for 2 days straight with no breaks. Huh? Then you came all by yourself? Yep, I snuck out of the manor and followed a map. Don't tell me you walked all the way here. Of course not. I ran. I can't... Oh my. It takes 2 hours by train. Oh man. Pearly, what about the train? Huh? What's a train?
I've got balls of steel.
This little girl is freaky. I give up. It's time, isn't it? I'm really scared. What if Von Karma tries to do something to me? At least I know Mr. Edgeworth would be nicer to me than Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth? Who is that? He's Nick's rival. Well, he's also a friend. I still remember him as though I'd only seen him yesterday. Man. Sorry, Edgeworth. I miss him in this game. He's a really good prosecutor. I like him. Every trial was a scorchingly fierce battle until the very end. He was always back and forth with him, but when you're rivals for life... Maya! Please don't mention that name ever again. Huh? But why, Nick? I'm sorry, Maya. I forgot you don't know. He's gone. He's not coming back. I thought it was Von Karma he was talking about in the last episode, and he said now that he's gone, he gets horrible flashbacks. None of it matters anymore because now he's gone. I thought he was talking about Von Karma. I thought he had peace. What? Wait a second. What's that supposed to mean? Court will commence shortly. Please proceed into the courtroom. Let's go. Now's not the time to talk about that anyway. Nick? Boy. This game's great. They're just like passing information back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Court is now in session for the trial of Maya Fey. Are the prosecution and defense prepared? What is with this kid? Ahem. Mr. Wright, are you prepared? Huh? Yes, Your Honor. Why does he always seem mad at me? Mr. Phoenix Wright. You must be a little shocked because I'm a woman, correct? Hold on. So she's the famed successor to Prosecutor Von Karma? I am Franziska Von Karma, the prodigy. I see. Gave up a promising career in Germany and came to this country for one sole reason. Revenge. Revenge? Is this about her father, Manfred Von Karma? If it's something of a personal nature, I'm sure you can... Ow! I'm talking. If you interrupt again, my whip will do the speaking for me. Please speak with your mouth, like a normal person. I beg of you. Yow! Make no mistake, I will defeat you. Prepare to go down, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Prosecutor Von Karma, your opening statement, please. Those of Von Karma blood have only one fate, and that is perfection. The defendant, my Faye, will find no escape from her guilt on my watch. Very well. What is the defense's position? Your Honor? Does the defense wish to enter a plea of not guilty? Yes. Foolish fool who foolishly dreams of foolish dreams. 10 minutes. I give the defense 10 minutes before it changes its plea. That's right. I'll have you running for the justified self-defense plea in no time. Justified self-defense. Plea usually reserved for when a person unintentionally kills in self-defense of themselves. You could very easily make a solid case that it was self-defense, but the defense stands by the plea of not guilty, Your Honor. Because to plead justified self-defense is to say you did kill someone. How foolish. If that's how you want to play it, Mr. Phoenix Wright, then I shall not call the first witness. She's just as scary as her father. Like father, like daughter, I suppose. Witness, your name and occupation? Yes, sir. My name is Dick Gumshoe. I'm a detective at the local precinct. Ah! Get to the point already. Explain to the court the details of this murder. Yes, sir. If everyone would please look at this map. The channeling chamber has no windows and the door was locked shut. At the time of the murder, only the victim and the defendant were in the room. What were they doing in there? They were channeling a spirit, sir. Channeling a spirit? It's quite the look of disbelief there, Your Honor. Anyway, a few minutes after the channeling started, gunshots were heard coming from inside the room, sir. A few of the witnesses broke the door down and rushed into the room. Ah, that's when they found that the victim was already dead, correct? Not good. I believe this is one of the most open and shut cases I've ever presided over. Floor plans added to the court record. So, how was the victim killed? I was about to get to that. Stop wasting my time, then. Why don't you slow your baloney roll? Oh, right, because you do not baloney over there in Germany. That's right, I forgot. You're an ignorant traveler. That's right, I'm sorry. Cause of death. The direct cause of death was a pistol shot to the forehead, sir. The shot was fired from point-blank range. But before the victim was shot, sir, he was stabbed in the chest. Well, that escalated quickly. The wound was very severe, but not enough to cause instantaneous death. The murderer used the pistol to finish the victim off after the stabbing. So the victim was stabbed before being shot. This is the victim's autopsy report, sir. Autopsy report added to the court record. The court accepts it into evidence. Mr. Wright, you may question the witness. Cause of death. The direct cause of death was a pistol shot to the forehead, sir. The murder weapon, Detective Gumshoe. Whose pistol was it? It was the victim's. The victim? Why would he have a pistol? Who cares? The point that you are missing is whose fingerprints are on that pistol. If you're not already paying attention to that, then I suggest you start. Fingerprints? There were fingerprints? Along with the victims, the defendant, my Fays, were also on the grip, sir. Ugh. That looks bad. So the defendant's fingerprints were left on the murder weapon. I walked right into her hands there. The shot was fired from point-blank range. Point-blank, huh? So about how far away is that? They're between 12 to 20 inches away. And how do you know he was shot at point-blank? Well, if we use his dick as a measurement size, we know that it was at least 3 times as long. It was at least 3 times farther than that. I know, I'm not funny. Tisk, 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 Mr. Phoenix, right? I grow tired of the foolish foolery of the foolish fools of this foolish country. Blah, blah, blah. Foolish, foolish, foolish. You're quite foolish yourself. With that foolish hair and those foolish clothes from the foolish fashion sense of a foolish father that you have, who's in the foolish prison of this supposedly foolish country. Excuse me? Gunpowder burn. Gunpowder burn? When something is shot from point blank, a burn area is left around the bullet hole. That's true. Gunpowder exploding is what makes a bullet fire, and that gets real hot, pal. That's why when you find a bullet, it's usually just the... Okay, when you fire the bullet, the little metal piece that fires is being propelled by the gunpowder. And in the casing, the gunpowder is in there. And when you knock the gun hammer against the little button on the casing, it sets off a spark that ignites the gunpowder and launches it out of the gun. That's why you find casings everywhere that are empty. And bullets are usually... Okay, the actual shot bullet is the little piece of metal that is attached and put... It's inserted into the casing and stuck in there really well. So, because it's launched at such a... The reason it's launched at such a high velocity is because it's packed in there, but if there's enough pressure, it can launch the bullet out of its casing. So that's why there's gunpowder in there, to create enough force, because fire bad. The fire that's caused by the gunpowder being ignited, it creates a lot of CO2, because fire makes CO2. It takes up all the oxygen. So when it's ignited, it needs to be able to launch. And usually there's some gunpowder left on there, but after flying a little ways, the gunpowder that's stuck there cools off. So there's no burn area if there's a bullet hole, if it's shot from more than 20 inches away. Little science lesson. You gotta be able to learn every now and again. Gunpowder exploding is what makes a bullet fire, and that gets real hot. And there were definitely some gunpowder burns left on the victim's forehead. Wow, never knew that. Live and learn, I guess. But before the victim was shot, sir, he was stabbed in the chest. By what? Stabbed? What was he stabbed with? A fruit knife. I see. And whose knife was it? It looks like it belonged to the Fays, sir. And of course, my Faye's fingerprints are all over it. All over it, huh? Ugh, this does not look good. Ha ha ha. What will you do now, Mr. Phoenix, Wright? The wound was very severe, but not enough to cause instantaneous death. How severe was the wound? If it had been half an inch more to the right, it would have hit the victim's heart. After a stab like that, it's impossible to fight back, let alone stand. His testimony makes it sound like Maya had stabbed him with the intent to kill, but it wasn't Maya! The murderer used the pistol to finish the victim off after the stabbing. Hold it! Are you sure he was stabbed first, then shot? Yep, sure can be. One look at the wounds and you come to the same conclusion too, pal. A fool is a fool who will only listen to the foolish opinions of other foolish fools. Pistol shot to the forehead at point blank is certainly enough to kill instantly. Does it matter then which was first? Think a little more before you open that big mouth of yours, Mr. Phoenix, Wright? Ugh, what a pain. That's enough. We have clearly established how the victim was murdered. I brought the 2 murder weapons with me today. Very well. The court accepts them into evidence. Pistol added to the court record. Knife added to the court record. Okay. The date and time of death was June 19th at 3:15 p.m. Eyewitnesses claim to have heard 2 gunshots at this time. And 2 murder weapons, both with the defendant's fingerprints on them, huh? This does seem like an open and shut case. Naturally. This is going from bad to worse. As if the summary just now wasn't oversimplifying things to the extreme. Your Honor, feel free to slam that little gavel of yours. After all, there's no room left for doubt, is there? That is quite true, Mr. Wright. Yes? Even in the face of all this, do you still wish to plead not guilty? It is the opinion of this court that if you do not adjust your plea, you stand to lose. See, just as I promised, Mr. Phoenix Wright, you would change your plea in less than 10 minutes. What will you do, Mr. Wright? Will you change to justified self-defense? Because now would be the time to do so. This is your final chance. This is a huge decision. Not guilty. If we plead justified self-defense, we would basically be confessing to murder. After the trial, Maya's life would be ruined, and she'd be labeled a murderer. I can't let that happen. Your Honor, have you reached a conclusion, Mr. Wright? The defense will not change its plea. We will accept nothing short of complete acquittal. You have sealed your fate, Mr. Wright. Mr. Phoenix Wright. Detective. Yes, sir. Present the final portion of your testimony, the final strike. Yes, sir. Now see here, proceedings are run by... Eek! Oh, yes, of course. Go ahead, detective, and give your testimony. I think the court would like to hear about the other piece of incriminating evidence. I remember when it was just a snap. It was a whoosh, and it had the judge ready to run away with his tail between his legs. Oops. Sorry, pal, but there's an even more incriminating piece of evidence. This is the costume the defendant was wearing at the time of the crime. As you can see, it's covered in blood. The defendant attacked and killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back. I saw something interesting on that costume. So this is the costume. There's certainly is evidence of a backspur of blood on this. This piece directly links my fate to the crime, sir. You see, the court accepts this into evidence. Nice costume. Alright, Mr. Wright. Maya's fingerprints are on both murder weapons and blood splatters on her clothes. No, I can't look at it. Could the situation get any worse? Ha! What's wrong? You seem to be at a loss. I think this is the last piece of testimony the prosecution should have to offer. Feel free to sulk off with your tail between your legs, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Please stop calling me by my full name. It's disturbing. I was thinking the exact same thing. Sorry, pal, but there's an even more incriminating piece of evidence. Why didn't you say so in your testimony earlier? You're kind of scared today, you know, pal? Come now, Mr. Wright. There's no need for that kind of attitude in my court. Alright, just please stop glaring at me like that. This is the costume the defendant was wearing at the time of the crime. Maya's costume? Yeah, she was wearing this when we arrested her. Maya. She's wearing her channeling costume today, too. Is she not allowed to wear anything else? As you can see, it's covered in blood. There's blood on the costume. Lab results show that it is the victim's blood. So there's blood from the victim on the defendant's clothes. Definitely not good. So, were there any other clues you could glean from this piece of evidence? Well... If you must change the topic, then the good detective here must testify again. But too bad, not enough time. Let's move on. Yes, Miss Von Karma is perfectly correct. Not even the judge is on her side. But if I bite off more than I can chew here, what should I do? Press further. Why is Miss Von Karma suddenly putting up resistance? Must be a reason as to why she suddenly threw out an objection like that. Must be something about this costume. Right there. You see? Right there. Right there. There's the glaring piece of contradictory evidence. There. Just have to look harder. Mr. Wright, Miss Von Karma's logic is perfect. There's no way for you to poke a hole in it. Looks like my time is up. So about the costume. There's one little thing. Just a little thing. Your Honor, actually, there's something very wrong with this piece of evidence. What? What are you talking about, pal? Where is this problem you're talking about? Come this far, there's no turning back now. Problem I have with this piece of evidence is here. Right there. I asked the court to please take a look at the sleeve of this costume. Sleeve? There's a tiny hole here. A hole? Well, that wasn't in the report. Hold on. What's this around the hole? It smells faintly of gunpowder. Gunpowder? No one ever told me. A hole that smells of gunpowder. Looks like I found the hole I was looking for. That's great. Your Honor, the only logical conclusion you can make is that it must be a bullet hole. Uh-huh. Order, order, order! This is a very grave matter. It's best we correct the court record first before anything else. Why is costume updating the court record? Sorry about that. I guess we messed up, sir. Is she actually smiling? What else is she hiding? Pull yourself together, detective. That tiny hole doesn't change a thing. The strength of the evidence still holds. Continue with her testimony. That just now was a fluke. Nothing more. How can you say something like that? This is a huge oversight. Well, I agree it's a mistake on the part of the police. What Prosecutor Von Karma has said is true. The evidence still stands. If you do not find a more definitive problem with the evidence, then... No way! Detective Gumshoe, please continue with the testimony. Yes, sir. Attacked and killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back. Objection! We just found out that he did fight back. Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yes? Having you call me by my full name is kind of a weird feeling. You said that my client killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back. Yeah, I did. Then what, may I ask, is the bullet hole you police overlooked supposed to mean? What does it mean? I'll tell you what it means. It means that the victim had fired off a shot. Is this what it means to not fight back? You're right. It seems you're correct. If the victim had tried to shoot the defendant, then it would change everything. Alright, the wind seems to be shifting. Ha, what is it with that "are you finished yet" laugh? Are you finished yet, Mr. Phoenix, Wright? Ms. Von Karma? It seems that my fate was shot at by the victim. However, that is only grounds enough to support a justified self-defense plea. That is correct, but I'm sure you remember, Your Honor, what the defense clearly said. They rejected justified self-defense and pleaded not guilty. No, now that you... Why, that's right! Which means the defense is yet to prove anything at all. No! Well, yes, that's true. Furthermore, just the fact that there is a bullet hole in this costume is not enough to substantiate even a plea of justified self-defense. Huh? How so? Don't just stand there. Hurry up and tell the court what transpired that day. With the new information we acquired, added in, of course. Huh? You mean by myself? You want me to put together the scenario by myself? Yes, sir. Right away, sir. Okay, is she a woman or is she not a woman? What transpired? During the channeling, the defendant saw her chance to stab the victim in the chest. Of course, the victim used the last of his strength to fight back, sir. While the two were fighting, the victim took out his gun. The victim took a shot, but because they were too close, he missed. Didn't we just prove that he didn't miss anything? He did miss his attacker, but he didn't miss completely. He shot something. The defendant then picked up the opening, took the victim's gun, and ended it. The scenario you have put together does make sense. Yes, sir. Well, Mr. Wright, on the surface it does seem to make sense. However, I won't give up that easily. But please refrain from glaring at me like that. Now then, cross-examination, please. I'm going to see if... Okay, what transpired? No, I'm not going to see if anything. Objection. Missing the tiny hole in this costume will be the prosecution's undoing. What do you mean? This little hole has actually created a huge hole in your testimony. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. You said the two of them were fighting when the victim fired his gun at point blank. If that were true, then where is the gunpowder burn on this costume? Gunpowder burn? This is what you testified earlier. When something is shot from point blank, a burn area is left around the bullet hole. Oh, there's not a single trace of gunpowder burn on this costume. That is a very good point. And what exactly does this mean? It means that when the shot was fired, they were standing apart from each other. I'm disappointed, Mr. Wright. You think you can punch a hole in my logic with that? With wishy-washy thinking like that, anyone can explain anything away. Then I implore you to disprove my line of thinking. Let's see. In the middle of their fight, the victim pushed the defendant away. And it was then, when they were separated, that he fired. How was that? As if that was even possible. According to the testimony, the wound from the stabbing was very severe. The victim would not have had the strength to push the defendant very far after that. Well, then... That's right. The defendant must have pushed the victim away. After stabbing him, she must have put some space between the doctor and herself. And then, while she was preparing to strike again, the doctor took a shot. There, that should satisfy even you. That does make an awful lot of sense. What do you think, Mr. Wright? Must be careful. I can't afford to make a mistake here. Concentrate and think. Something doesn't make sense. Something doesn't make sense. There's a fatal flaw in her argument, Your Honor. Fatal? Flaw? Yow! Very interesting. I would love to see where this flaw is. Show me something that contradicts my explanation. She put some distance between them before rushing to make the final blow. And when she was about to strike, the doctor took a shot. Must be a piece of evidence that contradicts this line of thinking. So, pushed her victim away, got ready to strike when the doctor fired off his gun, when the doctor took the shot. Was closing in when he took the shot. Right now is the time for evidence. Okay, I'm trying to think. Let's take a look at the evidence as such. Could it have been profiles? No. Stabbed him, pushed him away, closed in for the final shot, delivered, and he fired. So he was stabbed, then pushed away. She went in to deliver the final blow. As she was advancing, he pulled out the gun and fired a shot. Wish I could take a look at previous statements. That's not what I need. Touch the check button for details. No. Diagram of same manner. Nice costume. There would have been blood on the sleeves. Take a look at this. Why are you showing this to me, pal? Prosecutor Ron Karma's explanation and this piece of evidence do not contradict. Huh? Haha, looks like you need to use your brain a little more, pal. Ugh, being lectured by gumshoe about people is so embarrassing. Come on, hurry up and get that thinking cap on. She put some distance between them before rushing to make the final blow. And when she was about to strike, the doctor took his shot. Okay. Put some distance between closing in. Then, as she was closing in, the doctor took a shot. Small fruit knife. Take that. Take a look at this. Aw, man. Put some distance between them before rushing to make the final blow. When she was about to strike, the doctor took a shot. Must be a piece of evidence that contradicts his line of thinking. Take that. Okay. Take that. Damn it. Okay. Put some distance between them before rushing to make the final blow. So, pushed him back, and then came in. When she was about to strike, the doctor took his shot. Newspaper. No. Ah! This is the piece of evidence that destroys your logic. If he was pushed back onto the ground, he wouldn't have been able to make that hole. What is that? A folding screen? I'd like to point the court's attention to the hole in this folding screen. Ah! It looks like you already know what I'm talking about. Who? Where? What? Mr. Wright, your explanation, please. Are these two really that clueless? The bullet went through the defendant's sleeve first, then the folding screen. It passed through it at a height of approximately 8 inches off the ground, which means when the shot was fired, the defendant, was not getting ready to strike, but was actually squatting low to the ground. Order, order. This changes everything. Please look at this diagram of the crime scene. The victim, Dr. A, was here when he fired the shot, and the bullet hit this folding screen. It hit at this location about 8 inches off the ground. At this time, the defendant was in this area. So she was here. Here, near the folding screen. Wait a second. We know the defendant was close to the ground based on the height of the bullet hole, but how can you gauge the distance from that? Is it impossible that the defendant was standing much closer to the victim? That's impossible. But why? You, of all people, should know the answer to that question, Miss Von Karma. If she were shot from somewhere closer, then there would be gunpowder burns present. However, there is nothing of the sort around the bullet hole of this costume. Ah! Curse you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You? I believe it has now been proven that the defendant was standing a ways from the victim when she was shot at. But do you think this has changed the defendant's situation? It changes everything. Honestly, Your Honor, this changes everything. The prosecution has claimed that the defendant was aiming to kill by stabbing. If that were true, delivering the final strike with the knife would be ideal. However, where and what was the defendant doing at the time? Squatting all the way by the folding screen? Exactly. If my Faye was a real murderer, why would she be by the folding screen instead of preparing to strike? Upon further consideration, it does make very little sense. Yeah, I figured there had to be a reason. Figuring things out and proving the logic behind everything is your job. Oof. Alright, with this, the rest of the trial should be in the blast radius of disaster. You are such a smart man, Mr. Phoenix Wright. To think that you would have been able to take a completely hopeless case to this point. Now I know why Papa had a tough time with you. You amuse me. Ugh, of all the things to inherit, why did it have to be that smarmy smile? Detective, how dare you damage my perfect logic? Huh? How is this all my fault? You can start repairing your standing by first removing that 3-strand goatee. Oh, and rest assured, your punishment will come later. Punishment? Well then, Your Honor, I think I have had all I can take of this detective's face. I think it's time to call in the next witness. Next witness? It's got to be Lotta. Very well. The court will take a 5-minute recess. After we reconvene, we will hear from the next witness. To be continued. You know, it's only been going for 40 minutes. I think we can go the next leg of the trial. Yes. We can just finish this up now. June 21st, 11:37 a.m., District Court, Defendant, Lobby Number 3. Phew, that was a close one. I know you were giving it your all to defend me, but I could feel the death penalty hanging in the air. Felt like I was pretty close to dying myself. But you were wonderful out there. You listened carefully, made theories, and tricked everyone into believing in you. So, thanks. Wait, tricks? That must be the lawyer's secret technique, right? By the way, is the next witness who I think it is? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a lot of heart. Oh, guess there's no escaping her, huh? Remember, Nick, you promised you'd save me. If you lose, me and my sister's ghost will come after you and haunt you. Your sister? Are you talking about Mystic Mia? Yeah. Do you remember her, Pearly? My sister was a super good lawyer. She was also Nick's teacher. Oh, I didn't know that. June 21st, 11:43 a.m. District Court. Courtroom number 2. I wonder what was going through Pearl's head at that moment. Court will now reconvene. Now the first order of... Ow! I don't want to hear it, old man. After I call my witness, sit there quietly and watch like a good little boy. Yes, sir. Bring in the photographer who was witnessing the channeling. Who witnessed the channeling. Witness, your name and occupation, if you please. Hey, Phoenix, how you doing? Just fine. Sorry about this. Didn't exactly have a choice, you know? Yowza! Name and occupation. I declare, what in darnation? Hey, Judge, this here's a violence against my fair self. That's fine. That's fine? That ain't fine. That's a whip. Ah! There's no need for foolish outcries from foolishly foolish fools. Just hurry up and testify about what happened on the day of the murder. I haven't even gotten to say my name and job yet. The name's Lotta Hart, paranormal photographer, and I'm here to testify. Now, let's all be one big happy family, okay? You think the judge would be able to penalize her for that by having the bailiff come and arrest her for unprecedented courtroom violence? Only the doc and the defendant went into the channeling chamber. We were waiting outside the door, and then, bang, we heard this gunshot. Mr. Lawyer there broke the door down, and we rushed into the room. Inside was the dead victim and the defendant waving the pistol around. I swear, other than those two, there was no one else in the room. And did you take a picture of the scene right after the murder took place? Reckon course. Eh? Excuse me? Reckon course. It's short for, you reckon? Of course I did. Ah! Does it look like I care? Just hurry up and show your picture to the court. The moment of truth. What will be in that picture? Let's see here. This here's the picture. We've certainly seen that only the defendant and the victim were in that room. Are you ready, Mr. Phoenix, Wright? I will clear all doubt about Maya through this cross-examination. Just watch me. Again, the is amazing. Only the doc and the defendant went into the channeling chamber. Was it really only those two that went in? What are you blabbering about? You were there too, were you not? Why don't you answer that yourself? Was it really just the two of them? Yes. Dr. Gray and Maya were the only two that went into the room. But hold on, we can't have the defense testifying against its own client. Anyway, folks, only the two of them went into the channeling chamber, you hear? But you knew that from the very beginning, didn't you? Witness, continue. We were waiting outside the door, and then bang, we heard this gunshot. Was it really a gunshot? Are you insane? You must have heard it as well. Urgh. Why don't you testify for the court, Mr. Phoenix, Wright? Was it really a gunshot? Yes, I think it was something that sounded like a gunshot. And why are we here listening to the defense testify? And the world just becomes a little crueler. I heard a gunshot a long time ago, so I know. And I tell you, that was a gunshot I heard. Now this is where the story heats up. Mr. Lawyer broke the door down, and we rushed into the room. So I was the dead victim and the defendant waving a pistol around. I swear, other than those two, there was no one else in the room. Ah, no shit. This evidence clearly reveals how exactly are they? Not at all. Alright, fine. I don't think they want me to point to the judge. Okay, wrong thing, wrong time. Are you sure it was the defendant, Maya Fey? Sure, I'm sure. Lotta seems awful confident. Press harder. Lotta, please, think back to that day one more time. What you getting at? Remember what you said when we broke into the room? I was murdered. Lotta, at a time like this? Times like this are perfect for snapping up shots. But anyway, What's going on here? This gal, is she Maya? When you saw the murderer at that time, you couldn't even tell if it was Maya Fey or not, am I correct? Well, you see... Order, Miss Hart, you are here to present accurate testimony. Yeah, sorry. Good, this shifts things back to my side. For a defense lawyer, your defense is terribly lacking, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Witness, think back to when those two entered the channeling chamber. When they entered? Of those people, one of those people that entered the chamber was Maya Fey, correct? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was Maya that went in. Looks like we've come to a collective conclusion. The person in this picture is most certainly Maya Fey. Exactly. Rats, and I'm trapped like one. Ah! No, again. I swear, other than those two, there was no one inside. So, let me get this straight. This Mr. Lawyer there broke the door down? Honestly, Mr. Phoenix Wright, why don't you tell us what happened then? Yes, Miss Von Karma, I broke the door down. Sorry. Why does this feel like an inquisition? No need for apologizing. That was great. You're a real man. Oh, really? That's something I would have liked to see. The judge is smiling rather openly. I'll take that as a good sign. And what did you see once you broke in? I swear, other than those two, there was no one else. Okay, so just press everything like we did the detective. Are you absolutely certain of that? Sure am. But that old witch chased us out of the room, so... Old witch? Does she mean Morgan Fay? Well, there was no one else in there, and you know it. The channeling chamber was very dark, almost pitch black. Is there really no one else in there? What about... behind the folding screen? What about behind the folding screen? Did you check back there? Rare given? Huh? What in the... Rare given, you know? You reckon? That's a given. I took me a good look around the room once. There ain't no way anyone was hanging out behind that folding screen. If I may have a word with you, Miss Hart. What? You got a problem? Rare given. I mean, I'm having a little difficulty in understanding you. If you would please stop using words such as direct given. Now then, Mr. Phoenix Wright, do you see a problem with the testimony, or don't you? As I thought, there's nothing wrong with her testimony. I was with her, so I know she's telling the truth. Enough. Seems that there are no issues with Miss Hart's testimony. At the time of the crime, only two people were in the channeling chamber, the victim, Dr. Turner Gray, and the defendant, Maya Fey. The face of the defendant cannot be verified in this picture. However, if we think about the circumstances, it would have to be the defendant. What am I going to do if I just let this go? What is it, Mr. Wright? You look as if you have something to say. Is there anything I can do? Okay. This black key. Maya had the key. Your Honor, Mr. Wright, it is possible that the person in this photo is not the defendant. What? Do you know what you're proposing? Yeah, that's just plain fool's talk. Thanks, guys. Your show of support is just great. Now then, please show some proof. Take that. Here's your proof. Is there a problem? Oh no, I thought I would work on my inflections. Just wondering what an objection with the twist of you're wrong sounds like. Mr. Wright, I'm sorry, but I don't follow your logic. Shoot. Well, Mr. Wright? Nothing, Your Honor. That's very smart of you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You really should give up trying to prove this is not my affair. I didn't say anything about giving up. I just don't have the right piece of evidence to prove my argument. That's enough. Is this it? Is this all I could do? think it's quite obvious to this court that a verdict of not guilty is not possible. I told you. It's totally 100% impossible. Ms. Von Karma, do you have any further questions for this witness? Having established the defendant's guilt, further questioning won't be needed. What about the defense? No further questions, I presume? I couldn't protect Maya. The defense... Phoenix, you can't make that kind of face. A lawyer's someone who smiles, no matter how bad he gets. Mia! I guess I made it just in time, wouldn't you say? But pearls! Clothes are a bit small. Anyway, what are you waiting for, Phoenix? Let's go. But how? She's already taken away every advantage. The advantage is still in your hand. Think carefully, one more time, about what you saw in the channeling chamber. Do you remember what you told me yesterday? It's Dr. Gray. I was murdered. What? Click. Lotta, at a time like this, times like this are perfect for snapping up shots. You see? There's one final piece to this puzzle. Yeah, question Lotta one more time, Phoenix. I don't know if she's doing it unconsciously or on purpose, but she's not testifying truthfully. Now then, this court would like to end the cross-examination period. Please wait, Your Honor. The defense would like to request that the witness testify one more time. Overruled. Afraid you're too late, Mr. Wright. The cross-examination has already ended. Furthermore, any unrelated it's fine. I'll allow another testimony. Von Karma's case is perfect. Absolutely flawless. No better time than this for you to see that. But I mean, I have some place I must go after this. Alright, I'll allow it. Miss Hart, hurry and give us another testimony. Well, heck, what am I supposed to talk about? Please tell us once more what you remember when you burst in the channeling chamber. Okay, you got it. See, you got through to the judge somehow, right? Well, actually, it was Von Karma's whip that got through to him. Oh, snarky comments. Okay, so the second part. When we broke into the room, all I could focus on was Maya. I was kind of scared of the dead body, so I didn't take a good look at it. I'm really bad when it comes to blood and ghosts and stuff, but I still managed to point my camera at Maya and take a shot. Nothing sounds different from before. These parts for testimony were very vague. Suppressor. Struggle all you like is the taste of bitterness of your defeat. Well, amuse me with your useless questions, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I'm waiting. Do you remember when Mia was in Maya's body when we were investigating the Hammer case, when Mr. Jack Hammer was killed? When she met Wendy Oldbeck? My, what a violent old lady! When we broke into the room, all I could focus on was Maya. I was kind of scared of the body, so I didn't take a good look at it. And perhaps the body was not Dr. Gray's at all. Yeah? Well, I reckon that's possible. If the body inside that room was not that of Dr. Gray, then whose body was it, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Well, what if it was that of my fae after the channeling? Or maybe... Ow! Foolish fool spouting foolish foolishness, just as I expect from of a foolish fool such as you. If that were the case, then that would mean that Maya Fey is, in fact, dead. And that would make the defendant's chair quite a lonely place, wouldn't it? Ugh, sorry, Maya. Are you all done here? Can I continue? I'm really bad when it comes to blood and ghosts and stuff. But I still managed to... Okay. And even knowing that, you still persist in being a paranormal photographer? That's why I'm here getting... That's why I'm getting out of this here business. This gal's gonna get the dirt on stars and be a tablet photographer from now on. She goes through jobs faster than a baby through diapers. Wah! Mr. Phoenix Wright, would it kill you to stay on topic for a change? Well, would it, Mr. Wright? Nice tag teamed in stereo. Guess I should be grateful it's not in 5.1. Ooh, sound burn! Burn! So what did she look like? You know, she looked almost like a different person. A different person? She may have seemed like a different person, however, she was still Maya Fey. We have already made that point abundantly clear. Yes, that is true. Well then, Miss Hart, did you happen to see anything else? There must be something we can use in our testimony just now. We must find it at all costs. Two, right? Two what? 2 shots. You took 2 shots. But only one has been submitted as evidence. Miss Hart, where's the other picture you've been withholding. No, you got it all wrong. It's not me. I didn't mean anything bad. I know I can be a little mean, but I ain't evil. At least she knows herself. Why have you not shown this other picture to the court yet? Well, ain't obvious. The prosecutor wouldn't told me to shut my trap about it. What? Von Karma. Miss Von Karma, you're hiding critical evidence. Unforgivable, Von Karma. Suppressing evidence like this, you're as bad as your father. Confront Francisco. Your Honor, the defense asks that Prosecutor Von Karma be held in contempt of court. Me in contempt of court? You can't be serious. But you hid evidence from the court on purpose. That's not fair. Phoenix, are you a lawyer or a school child? I was so angry I lost my composure. Miss Von Karma, would you care to explain yourself to this court? I thought this picture was not important, and thus felt no need to submit it, that's all. How can you think? The picture was more or less the same, so why bother with the second? I mean, it's just so much more trouble than it's worth for me to submit this as evidence. More trouble than it's worth? How can you say that? If you want to see it that badly, I'll submit it. What is this picture? It's obviously the second picture the witness took that day at the scene of the crime. Well, it's a little off-center, but that's what you get with a nervous amateur. I think the important point here is the person in this picture. This is definitely not Maya Fey. And let's just look there. Notice no bullet hole. No bullet hole. That's not Maya. That's not Maya. That's my look for the beep Eric I was looking for. Insist it's not Maya. Your Honor, as you can plainly see, the person in the picture is not Maya Fey. Yes, I see that. It's not just her face. Her whole body has taken on a different appearance. There is only one conclusion that can be drawn then, that somehow this other person is not going to trade places with the defendant. It is Mimi mining. Order. Well, yes, I believe you are correct, Mr. Wright. The person who was inside the training chamber was not Maya Fey. Mia, we did it. You're too soft. Huh? You're softer than Aunt Morgan's strawberry desserts, Phoenix. Take a look at Prosecutor Von Karma's face. She's smiling? I think you had better continue to worry, Mr. Phoenix Wright. But Miss Von Karma, what do you mean by that? Your Honor, I would like you to take a look at this picture. This was taken yesterday at the detention center's visitor room. This is Mr. Phoenix Wright and the defendant, Maya Fey, during his visit. Maya Fey? But isn't this a totally different person? She looks this way because she's obviously in the middle of channeling a spirit. It's unbelievable that she can... Yet, it is the truth. When Maya Fey is in that state, she physically changes into the person she's calling. Also mentally, because it is that person. Miss Von Karma, a word if I may. Mia, taking pictures of someone during a private visit is illegal. Surely you must know that that picture can't be submitted as evidence. Obviously, I know this picture is illegal, but I never intended to submit it as evidence in the first place. What is she? From the moment I showed this picture to the court, this case became all mine. After all, this image has now been forever burned into the judge's mind. I don't have even a single witty line. Looks like we've been had. I don't claim to understand this, and I still cannot believe it. Are you saying this person is the defendant, Maya Fey? I give up here, the trial will end, but if I slip up and say something wrong, it will cost me. Is not Maya. I can prove it. Your Honor? Oh, the fire has returned to your eyes, I see. Within this picture lies a critical contradiction to all the testimony up till now. Contradiction? So, you think you spotted a problem with this picture? Then earn your keep. Why don't you point out exactly what's so strange in this picture for the court? Take that! Please direct your attention here. To the sleeve? But there isn't anything odd about it. And that is exactly what is so odd. Something that should be there is suddenly missing. Should be there? There was a bullet hole in the sleeve of the defendant's costume. If that's the case, then it should be in this picture as well. Miss Von Karma, you intended to hide this valuable piece of evidence. You will most certainly be assigned a penalty for this. Alright, this should do some major damage to her argument. Don't celebrate yet. You like to bring down the mood, don't you? Take a look at Miss Von Karma's face. She's got that condescending grin plastered all over her face again. If only we could shut her up, maybe with her whip. Jumping the gun again, I see. Your Honor. I would like to extend an apology on behalf of those incompetent fools. What do you mean? And what incompetent fools? If those fools down at the precinct hadn't missed the bullet hole, I would have gotten a report about it. As I didn't, I could not have known that this picture was of any value to this case. I see. She's lying through her teeth. I know it. The woman knew about everything. The bullet hole, the picture, everything. But you can't prove that. Franziska von Karma's idea of a perfect case is quite fascinating, don't you think? Your Honor, you need not worry. If you must assign a penalty, I'll personally make sure that detective gets what's coming. I'm sure there will be a great gnashing of teeth at his next salary discussion. Poor Gumshoe. In any case, this is a very big problem. When the defendant was taken into custody, her costume had a bullet hole in its sleeve. However, from this photo, it would appear that right after the shooting, there was none. Wait. Did anyone else notice anything? How there's blood here around the kimono part, but not around the costume part? The wrap part. I guess that's a wrap, but it has sleeves. So it's more of a coat, kinda. No. It's more of a robe. So on the kimono there's blood stains, but on the shawl, it's a shawl. On the shawl there is nothing of any sort of blood splatter. So she changed costumes. Oh no. This is your chance, Phoenix. Load all you got into this one shot, alright? Got it. Watch this, Maya. Your Honor, there's only one logical explanation for the contradiction. The shooter is someone else. There were no other gunshots, so that eliminates the bullet hole was made later. The picture cannot be a fake because it was taken by Lotta, so the shooter is someone else. The defendant's sleeve had a bullet hole in it. However, this person's clearly does not. There can be only one explanation. The person who shot Dr. Gray was not the defendant, but a different person altogether. What? I'm guessing Von Karma didn't notice the splatter part on the shawl. Order, order, order. If order is not restored, I will suspend this trial. Ow! Why me? The defense's argument is a complete mess. A complete mess? I fail to see how. Please enlighten us. Hey, witness. What the heck? Is that any way to ask a gal for a favor? Be quiet, you. You were the one who said it was only the two of them when you entered the room. Well, you know, if you were lying, I swear that my whip will be the last thing you see. Look, sis, you're looking mighty scary, so why don't we say you... Wah! I swear I wasn't lying or nothing. There wasn't anyone else in there, honest. You see, now riddle me this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Where did the defendant vanish to? And where did this other woman appear from? Why is it lately all I want to do is cry? Well, if the person in this picture is not the defendant, then this poses two very big questions. First, where did the defendant vanish to? And second, where did this person come from? That's right. Now hurry up and answer, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Come on, you can't fall apart here, Phoenix. I can't believe that even Mia's calling me by my full name. But I mean, how am I supposed to prove something like this? Had enough yet, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Or do you think you have enough in you to turn things around even now? To turn things around? I have to turn around my... That's right. Mia would always turn things around and change her perspective. Phoenix? So, where did this intruder appear from, and where did Maya disappear to? I need to look at this situation from a different angle. Let's see. What if before we broke in, the third person was already in the room? What if Maya had left that room somehow? I could prove that either one of those conditions were true. Mr. Wright, let's hear what you've come up with. I think what happened before we forced our way into the channeling chamber is... Maya had left the room. Maya had left the channeling chamber at some point, and the defense can prove this. Oh, how a foolish fool makes a foolish face while dreaming foolishly foolish fools. That's right. She was arrested from in there. Maya Fey was being looked after by her Aunt Morgan Fey. Chance of her leaving the crime scene is lower than that detective's salary. Anyway, let's see some evidence. Prove that from the murder until the time of arrest, the defendant had left the room. Take that. Miss Hart, do you remember this key? Well, I've seen it. Hey, that's the channeling chamber key, right? Before the channeling started, Maya locked the door from the inside with that. The defendant herself locked the door? Yeah, that's why we all couldn't get the door open. The key's the one and only of its kind, after all. Oh, one of a kind, you say? Wait, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Yes? It looks like she's catching on. I'm afraid to ask, but why is that key currently in your possession? Huh? What do you mean? If Maya Fey locked herself in, then the key should have been with her. Yes, agreed. However, she did not have the key at the time of her arrest. Ah! Well, ain't that a kick? So how come you're holding it? I got this as a present from a certain little girl. And that little girl was nowhere near the crime scene at the time. That's preposterous. This means that Maya Fey must have left the room. If she had not, then I would not be holding this key you see before you. No! So that's what Mia meant by we had the key. There we go. Seems we have come to an impasse. This picture has clearly captured the face of the murderer. However, is this person the defendant or not? The defense is arguing that this person is not the defendant. Furthermore, as proof, this key has been submitted as evidence. Ms. Von Karma? How can this be? At this point in time, a verdict on the defendant's guilt is not possible. My perfect case. How is there a flaw in my perfect case? Don't think you've won yet, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I'm a prodigy. I have never lost a case. And I don't intend to lose here in this courtroom to a fool like you. I don't care what I have to do. I will get my guilty verdict. That's enough. If you would like to continue, do so in the lobby. Court will reconvene tomorrow at 10 a.m. That is all. Court is adjourned. Boom. Wow. That was you, Pearly? You summoned my sis? Yes, I felt I had no choice. Great going, Pearly. I knew you were special. Hey, Nick, did you know? Yeah. It's not like anyone else in there could have done it. Nick, I know you're trying really hard and all, but I really don't remember ever leaving that room. And I don't think that a third person could have gone into that room. Yeah. Well, at least we have until tomorrow to figure things out. Like what happened in that room, for instance. Yeah, I'm counting on you. I envy the two of you. Oh, by the way, Nick, do you think you could take Pearly back home for me? Sure. Alright, Pearls. You ready to go buy some tickets? Huh? A ticket? Poor thing. So sheltered. Alright, to be continued. And with that, I leave it here. I save. And this is the point we pick up from. That's the point we pick up from. So, thank you everybody so much for watching. Do you have a theory about what's going to happen? I think I remember enough to know who the murderer is. So, if you have any ideas, then please put them down in the comments below. If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, then give it a thumbs down. I really love getting criticism from you guys, because it lets me know what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, and everywhere in between. So, again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the stuff that I do, then please hit the subscribe button and ring that bell so you're notified as soon as something goes up. And, as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!